Hey, today we're going to be taking a look at the insane architecture of the Eyrie. So, what is the Eyrie? It's an ancient castle and the seat of House Arryn, one of the oldest lines of Andal nobility within the Vale of Arryn. It's situated in the Mountains of the Moon on the shoulder of a peak known as the Giant's Lance, several thousand feet above the valley below. The Eyrie itself is considered impregnable to attack. I guess unless you have a dragon. During wintertime, the Arryns seek refuge against the cold in the Gates of the Moon at the base of the mountain, which is a set of defensive smaller castles. So how did the Eyrie end up built at the top of a mountain? Records indicate that Artis Arryn, the first king of Mountain and Vale, constructed the Gates of the Moon at the foot of the Giant's Lance, where he had defeated King Robar Royce II's army of first men in the Battle of the Seven Stars. Artis's grandson, Roland Arryn I, believed that the Gates of the Moon was both inferior to Casterly Rock and the High Tower, and strategically vulnerable to raids from the Vale mountain clans. Allegedly inspired by his wife, Tiora Hunter, Roland decided to build a new royal palace high in the mountain above the Gates of the Moon. To reach the Eyrie from the west, an invading army would first have to overcome the Bloody Gate guarding the high road. Then, within the Vale, the stout Gates of the Moon guards the base of the Giant's Lance. The Gates of the Moon is actually larger than the Eyrie and has a moat, a gatehouse, a yard, and a well. The castle has square towers, including the East Tower and the Falcon Tower. The back of the castle's Great Hall has a pillared gallery which leads to the tower stairs and to the inner ward. The castle's vaults contain granaries and dungeons. Prisoners can also be kept in tower cells. Steep stones carved into the Giant's Lance creep up the mountainside from the Gates of the Moon. They are too narrow for horses, but are accessible by mules. Those poor bloody mules, they carried a hell of a lot. We'll get there. Travelers or successfully invading forces on the staircase are also exposed to defenders in the three-way castles, Snow, Stone, and Sky. Stone, the first-way castle, is on a path surrounded by forest. The trees that overhang the path are so thick it's like walking through a tunnel. Visitors are greeted by massive iron-bound gates. Iron spikes are set along the tops of the formidable stone walls of the castle, and two fat round towers overtop the keep. Inside, you'll see the same castle courtyard activity as in any other small castle. Stable hands at the ready and perhaps some food roasting on a spit nearby. Snow is the second-way castle, is on a trail steeper than that of Stone, with steps more worn, and here and there littered with pebbles, fallen rocks, and broken stones. It's nestled into the Giant's Lance so as to command the entire pathway from Stone to Snow. The trees are sparser up here, and the wind blows more vigorously. The castle, Snow, consists of a single fortified tower, a timber keep, and a stable placed behind a low wall of unmortared rock. An enemy intent on the Eyrie would have to fight his way from Stone step by step, while rocks and arrows rain down from Snow above. The trail then continues up the mountain from Snow to Sky. The steps are cracked and broken from centuries of freeze and thaw and the tread of countless mules. On the pathway, there is a high saddle between two spires of rock, which would need to be passed. The path between is 20 feet long and close to 3 feet wide, with a precipitous drop on either side. Sky, the third-way castle, is no more than a high, crescent-shaped wall of unmortared stone raised against the side of the mountain. Inside the walls, there are only a series of ramps and a great tumble of boulders and stones of all sizes. No doubt it would be the easiest thing in the world to begin an avalanche from here. There are stables and barracks, and the path inside the mountain, leading to handholds carved in the rock, lead up to the Eyrie. Baskets and oaken buckets can transport supplies and travelers up to the Eyrie as well, if you're not claiming your way up there. Caitlin is like, I have been traveling all day. Send me up in that goddamn basket. Construction of the Eyrie took place intermittently over generations, and marble was imported from Tarth in the Narrow Sea, as Roland disliked the appearance of stone in the Vale. So much for being proud of where you're from, Roland. The first maester to serve at the Eyrie was Quince, who declared the Eyrie to be the most splendid work ever built by the hands of men, a palace worthy of the gods themselves. Surely even the Father above does not have such a seat. The Eyrie is the smallest of the great castles, being no larger than Maegor's Holdfast. The castle is made of fine white stone. 7 slim white towers are bunched tightly together and can hold up to 500 men. The waterfall known as Alyssa's Tears can be heard from the Eyrie, and falcons fly near the castle as well, hence the Arryn sigil. So what's it like inside this marble paradise palace atop the mountain? Well, the Crescent Chamber is the Eyrie's reception hall. Here, guests are given refreshments and warmed by the fire after making the climb up the Giant's Lance. A flight of steep marble stairs from the Crescent Chamber bypasses the Eyrie's undercrofts and dungeons and is protected by 3 murder holes. The portcullis atop the stairs leads to an arcade decorated with tapestries. A solar is located at the end of the arcade. The chamber is decorated with a Mirish carpet and has enough room for a trestle table and at least 8 heavy oak and leather chairs. The High Hall is a long and austere hall, with walls made of blue-veined white marble. The High Hall is decorated with rows of slim fluted pillars and a blue silk carpet. At the end of it, upon a dais, sits 2 thrones carved of weirwood, one the high seat of the Lord, and the other a lesser throne for a consort. It has narrow, arched windows, between which are about 50 torches mounted high on iron or silver sconces. Feasts can be held in the High Hall. The entrance to the High Hall is through carved wooden doors. The Moon Door is a narrow weirwood door that stands between 2 slender pillars halfway in the High Hall. A crescent moon is carved into the door, which opens inward and is barred by 3 heavy bronze bars. The door opens into the sky. Most executions at the Eyrie use this door, which opens onto a 600-foot drop to the stones of the valley below. The lower hall is a hall in which food and wine can be served. The morning hall is located above the kitchens and is where people can break their fast. The Maiden's Tower is the easternmost of the 7 towers of the Eyrie. The chambers are larger and more lavish, with dressing rooms and privies. From a balcony carved of white stone on the tower, one can see the Vale and the Giant's Lance. The Moon Tower contains the bedchambers of Lord Arryn, which is protected by an oaken door 4 inches thick and has curtains of plush blue velvet. The bedchamber's window has small diamond-shaped panes. The godswood of the Eyrie is encircled by the castle's towers. It lacks a heart tree, as no weirwood would take root in the stony soil. The garden, which is overlooked by Lady Lysa Arryn's apartments, instead contains blue flowers, grass, shrubbery, thin dark trees, and statuary, including a depiction of a weeping Alyssa Arryn in its centre. The sky cells are the Eyrie's infamous dungeons, each sealed by a heavy iron-bound door. They are shelves on the side of the mountain's sheer cliffs, left open to the cold sky, with slightly sloping floors to unnerve the prisoners. Lysa Arryn actually threatens to put Tyrion in a smaller, steeper cell, so I can imagine they vary depending on the sentence. Many prisoners, driven mad by the cold and howling wind, commit suicide rather than remain imprisoned. The Eyrie lacks stables, smithies, and kennels, but its granary is as large as those found in much larger castles, like Winterfell. The Eyrie also contains a set. It sounds like a magical palace above the clouds, like it should be up some beanstalk with a golden goose or something. Without use of magic or giants, and no Targaryen dragons to help that early on, the thousands of tons of marble needed for this castle would have been carried up the Giant's Lance by mules. I can't imagine those mules had a great life. Moment of silence for the mules. Was it worth it to build this barely accessible, barely usable castle? The Arryns think so. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you have a nice day. I hope you subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Links to socials will be in the description below. Cheerio. Fuck, I can't reach.